Let's move on to markets now, and according to the latest crop progress report, the Nebraska corn crop rated 62% good to excellent, with 27% of the crop mature and 1% of the crop harvested. For soybeans, 63% of the crop rated good to excellent, with 37% of the crop dropping leaves. I was joined this week by Darin Fessler of Lakefront Futures and Options to get a closer look at how this year's crop is looking and what we can expect as harvest ramps up.
As far as looking at the good to excellent ratings, we are in that time frame of the year where, yes, the ratings will start to decline here just a little bit, and given what has transpired over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks now, especially in Iowa and even a good chunk of Nebraska, where, we've seen a lot of decline in conditions. I think the market has compensated us for those declines. But really, you come to, this, September's report, even October's report when it comes to the USA WASDEs. I think those two reports are going to be very, very important as we move forward here, as we gauge what this ending stocks will be with the increased demand that we have seen. And so with this increased demand, it's really thrown everybody for a little bit of a loop here with the dryness, and then obviously the winds across Iowa that, okay, what really is this overall production going to be? And have we put enough premium in these markets to compensate for those production losses?
And Darin, with the colder weather this week, any impacts we could see on crops related to that?
Well, I think with the rain this week, with the cooler temps that we've seen, it may help out some of those longer maturity beans, but I think what has taken place, the damage has been done, so to speak, at this point, where I don't know if it's going to move the needle a whole lot from this point from a yield standpoint, as a lot of guys are starting to get going on maybe some early maturity beans here, maybe on that dry land as well. Maybe some very, very early harvest being reported in central Illinois, which is coming in pretty decent at this point. But the bulk of it's not going to happen for the next couple of weeks. So, as we get more in the fall here and the combines start rolling, we get a better idea of really where this production is, and we can go on from there. Again, like I said, I think that the market has done a really decent job here pricing in this really decent demand from China, and this Chinese demand, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. And I've said before on other interviews, it's much more of a need base than a phase one base. Meaning I think they're really ramping up this hog herd in such a way that they really need these products much more so than they're trying to abide by this phase one trade deal.
Darin, this is a busy time of year for producers. Harvest is starting up. Guys might be trying to get in a couple more sales before summer officially ends. What are the big questions you've been getting from clients this time of year?
Well, it's, we were fortunate enough to catch some of these moves last summer and over the winter to really put guys in a decent position for this time frame of the year. But there is still a significant amount of producers out there who may be undersold at this point of the year. And, if you look at where the corn price is minus the basis, it's still not that exciting to talk about. But you got to look at where your overall storage is situation and where your overall sales are, and think about, okay, how much cash flow do I need by the end of the year, and is there opportunities for me to re-own? Because if you are one who may not have that storage, re-ownership may be a decent opportunity for you, or a decent strategy on a pullback. And that thing goes for beans, it goes for corn. I do think these markets have been a little bit overextended here a little bit. I would wait for a little bit of pullback to re-own some of this stuff. But I think that the demand story, and even going into 2021, there's still going to be uncertainties about how Brazil and Argentina pan out. I think there's going to be enough risk in the market where re-ownership is the right strategy to play there.
And you mentioned corn basis. Dive in a little deeper on that for us. What are some changes we could be seeing with corn basis as harvest ramps up?
Well, given where you are in the country, I think that there's going to be a push on basis. You're already starting to see that. You've seen it on the beans here with the increased demand. Look at the Gulf basis. The Gulf basis has been relatively strong here. So if you start seeing historically strong basis in this time of year, I am still encouraging producers to take a look at some basis contracts, lock some of that in, especially if you're in an area where you feel like, we got a pretty decent crop coming here and we're getting that basis push now before fall, I still think that is an opportunity to take advantage of that basis, because there is still a lot of merchandisers and grain buyers who don't have enough on their books yet for fall what they typically normally would at this time of the year. So they're going to try to get those bushels bought right now. But I would say this: if you're in an area that they might be short on a crop, say in Iowa, you're probably going to get some pretty strong basis come this fall, especially once the combines really start rolling. We know more of the figures. I think that right now is the time to take advantage of those strength and bases.
And Darin, finally, September WASDE this Friday. Any final thoughts on what you're going to be watching for with that report?
Two of the big things, I'm looking at harvested acreage on both the corn and the beans, corn in particular with all the wind across Iowa. I am looking for the largest August to September ending stocks cut that we've ever seen on record because of what had transpired in August dryness, August weather in Iowa. So I do think that there is a fair bit of premium that has already been built into the market for these numbers, but is where the chips fall at the end of the day is where it transpires to the market. And when we watch what the follow-through does, if we see follow-through price action come Monday or Tuesday of next week where this thing just continues to back up on a bearish or even a neutral number, I think that is a trend in short term is probably going to be your friend for the time being, since we've ran up a fair bit here ahead of this report.